Hey there, guys. I am meteorologist Ben Peine here in the Extol Media Studios, and we just had my former coworker Shay McAllister on. She's got Shay Informed, so go sign up there for your local news source. That is shayinformed.com, and again, you can watch that long form interview on Extol Unfiltered on our show that was just on at 9 o'clock. So that's on Extol Media on YouTube, Extol weather is where you're finding my show on Facebook and my page, Meteorologist Ben Peine. Thanks for watching there. If you're popping on this early, you might be watching the replay. So thanks for watching the replay. Feel free to drop in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. Obviously, if you've been outside here recently, we have some phenomenal weather across the area, and we are going to have this nice autumn air here for a while. So we have all good things to talk about here on today's edition of Ben at 10. I go ahead and bring up the weather headlines here as we get started. And we get that out of the way and bring up this. So here it is for, that date is wrong, August to 25th. Cool nights in the 50s, perfect afternoons in the 70s, and a dry pattern on the way. That play ball forecast, nice and mild. Might be a touch breezy this afternoon. Might get a wind gust around 20, 25, kind of like what we saw yesterday. Just 77 for the afternoon high today and around 70 degrees at 8 p.m. 0% chance of rain, northwest wind, and again around 10 to 20 miles per hour. And as we take a look at the current conditions across the area, here's a look at the numbers. And it is, again, just phenomenal across the area. Something we haven't felt really since first day of June. I think it was this cool, but it was in the 50s if you were up early around sunrise. And now look at these numbers, just really cozy here in the 60s. And again, just heading into the 70s for this afternoon. We're trending about 10 degrees below normal for this time of the year. So all is quiet around the region. And if you're new to this show, we typically will give you the forecast off the bat. Obviously, we're going to do a deeper dive into the forecast. And then around 10:15, 10:20, we'll dig into the weather models. We'll look at the long-range outlook, which I always like to throw this up when I talk about that. All right. We'll have Ben on a limb with our long-range forecast here in a little bit. Then we'll recap the forecast once again. So thanks for dropping in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. Love to see the weather family popping in here. Good morning from Borden, Indiana. Loving the cooler weather there. Thank you very much, Beverly, for watching. We've got a good morning from Dennis Gregory up in Bedford. Awesome weather. Top back on the Jeep. We were up in Bedford, North Lawrence for a tennis tournament on Friday, and we got the win. We got the W for the 5th year in a row, Borden tennis. So that was fun. And Keith Hennessy, thanks for tuning in here this morning. We've got Mike Sievert with a good morning. Hello to you guys. Lillian Lasley, going to the doctor. Have an awesome day. Good luck there. We've got Mike tuning in from Middletown. So thanks for watching there, Mike. Appreciate you tuning in. And let's get to a few announcements here, and then we'll get rolling with your forecast. And here we go. We want to give a shout out to Ivy Tech. Today's a big day at Ivy Tech, by the way. There is the fall sessions that begin this morning. My daughter also began her first college class this morning. Gave me a picture there from the biggest class she's ever been in, those big auditoriums. So Ivy Tech Community College helped my daughter out to start off as a second semester sophomore at IU because of the connection with Prosser and Ivy Tech. If you want to learn more, go to locations, head to the Sellersburg campus. They've got 42 programs and counting, 2-year associate programs, much more. You can learn them out here. They have Tuesdays at the Tech where you can go there and get that one-on-one help on how to pay for college, how to sign up, how to register. Again, those fall sessions. Good luck to all the students beginning today on this August 25th. So the campus is busy out there. Also, you can level up your career right here if you go to libspaving.com. It is Libs Paving Company here, right out of Floyd's Knobs, the top asphalt contractor around. But the point is, if you go to the careers, if you want an opportunity, they've got a lot of job opportunities here posted. There you can see you can apply now online. And lionsroofingco.com, LYONS roofing.com. You can see more information right here at their website. If you have any roofing questions, you can get more information right here. There is a careers section as well. 812-294-3595 is the number to call. They've got a roofing repair technician job opening, so check them out if you want that opportunity. Of course, they work hand in hand with insurance companies, and my insurance agent is right here, Michael Long, with American Family Insurance, amfam.com. You can go there, just search Michael Long. Proud to be an American Star Certified Agency Excellence in Customer Experience. Tell him that I sent you for that quote, 812-578-3072. Now taking a look outside, again, just a glorious start to this day. There you can see the full force sunshine that we have across the area. This is the Falls of the Ohio Foundation.org camera, and just a beautiful blue sky across the entire region. You see some folks out there enjoying this morning out there on the fossil beds. And of course, right in our backyard here, it is looking just as nice as well. As we bring up our uptown camera in New Albany, Indiana. There you can see that beautiful clear sky, as well as folks are taking that turn on the Vincennes here at the Extol Media Studios. So how good does that air feel in your backyard as well? I mean, it is awesome out there. Vicki Berger, hey, I'm back. Thanks for tuning in, Vicki. Appreciate you. And Betty Keller LaHue from Corden, Indiana, just down the road. Thanks for tuning in there. And I want to remind you as well, if you have a weather question, hit me up right here, ben@extolmag.com. If you want to join with marketing or advertising solutions, you want to see your brand logo on our content, we've got Extol Weather, Extol Media, and we can be your Southern Indiana megaphone and get that word out there about your business or organization. Two ways you can contact us about that, ben@extolmag.com or jason@extolmag.com. And again, here's the weather headlines. If you're just popping in, cool nights in the 50s, near record lows, and perfect afternoons in the 70s, and a dry weather pattern. That high today, 77 degrees, a touch breezy at times for today. And as I've been promising here over the last week or so, since the weather pattern is so quiet, some stupid summer dad jokes here for you. They are groaners, I'll admit it, but they're free. Why is summer camp so hard for some people? Because it's really intense. Get it? Boom. I got barely a little smile over here. From Colin. Why doesn't the sun trust umbrellas? Because they're so shady. Why don't mosquitoes make good comedians? Their jokes always suck. Just like these. But yeah, again, they're free. There you go. Good morning, everybody. It's a Monday. Hey, Saturday we were out at Patoka. I want to thank my neighbors, the Millers, for taking us out and getting Sarah a big catch. That fish is filleted and in our refrigerator for dinner tonight. So thank you, Fishy. But it was a fun time out there. I mean, as you know, the weather was phenomenal through the weekend. And Janet Flights. I am hearing something that sounds like cicadas near my house. Is there a new group that has come out just lately? So that's a good question. We had Brood XIV. I think that's Brood 14. That was mainly in Kentucky and a few counties along the Ohio River. Those were out there in late May, June. They're gone. What we have is dog days of summer cicadas. They're probably not going to last much longer, but that's what we have out there. Those are our regular yearly cicadas. They came out in like July, August, and so that's what you're hearing out there now is those yearly cicadas. But I've seen a couple of those like on the garage, and saw one that passed away as well. We've got Sandra Kissling from Louisville. Thanks for watching. Good morning to John Fox. I talked about you a little bit on Extol Unfiltered, by the way. Nice fish. Yeah, let's go back to that. Nice fish and a pretty lady right there. That's my wife, Sarah. So on the left here, that is just a little recap. We've been pretty busy. So that was the picture my daughter sent me this morning, her first college class on the left at IU. And then there's my son on the right at the Bedford North Lawrence, the BNL tennis tournament. Little Borden taking on some big schools and taking home the hardware right there. So congrats to the boys. So how many days until we get those before 8 p.m. sunsets? You know it's coming quick. We get these late sunrises now and these earlier sunsets. We're only 9 days away from that. Autumn begins in less than a month, 28 days away. That's September 22nd. Right after that, we have average highs in the 70s. We're getting this taste of autumn this week. with highs in the 70s, about 10 degrees below normal. But we'll likely have, it's still summertime. We'll probably get the heat to return at some point. But over the next couple of weeks, it really doesn't look too bad. Average highs in the 60s, about 55 days away. Thank you very much, Anita. Thanks for dropping in the comments there. And the allergy report, if we want something to complain about, the weather, again, is fantastic. But I've noticed being a little more congested, too. So today, tomorrow, Wednesday, really throughout the rest of summer and into early fall, until we can get a frost, we're going to have that ragweed and weed pollen out there. So that forecast summary for today, for your August 25th, 77, feeling fantastic. A bit of a breeze out there. Northwest wind at 10 to 20, might gust around 25. And our sunset at 8:22. Tonight, rather cool. We had our windows open last night, and you can too. 55 degrees, that low temperature. So free AC for tonight. And the winds will calm down around sunset, northwest wind at around 5. So the air kind of mixes in the afternoon, and that'll mix down some breezes for today. Tomorrow's forecast for your Tuesday, August 26th. 50s out the door, upper 60s at noon, 76 for the high temperature for tomorrow. So maybe even a little more than 10 degrees below average. Average high is now 88. We are technically past what is the hottest part of the year. 68, our normal low temperature. And our sunrise tomorrow is 7:07, our sunset at 8:21. So check out this awesome 7-day forecast, starting with tomorrow, 76 down to 54 Tuesday night. The record low temperatures in Louisville around 51. So we'll be kind of close to that. 77 Wednesday, upper 70s near 80 degrees really for the rest of the week, and maybe a tad warmer, but still on the cool side. And that is cooling down some of the lake water, the pool water for our last, big weekend of summer. 80 degrees Sunday and right around 80 degrees for Labor Day Monday. So loving it. Linda Shelburne says, good morning. Love this weather. And Mike Sievert, no more extreme heat for this year. I can't promise that. We've got a trough in the jet stream, which we'll see here with the weather models here in just a second. So that trough is the jet stream diving down over the Ohio Valley for the next week or two. And that's what's giving us this nice change across the area. But if that trough moves off to the east, we get a ridge to come back in, then we may see more heat building back in across the area. Can't rule that out through September. We've had, I think, the record high of 91 all the way up till October 15th. So we can still have some 90s through mid-October. So still a little early to call off more heat for this summer. John Fox, Mrs. Meredith, they are inside and out. Oh, thank you very much. I don't know if you're talking about cicadas being inside and out or what, but thank you very much. Appreciate you, John, for your viewership pretty much every day. All right, we're going to head over to the weather models again as we look live out here. If you're just popping in the show, it is a crystal clear blue sky out there. We may see a field of just some friendly cumulus clouds later this afternoon. And that when we have a little bit of afternoon warmth, it'll kind of mix up the atmosphere. The winds are a little bit stronger aloft, so we might get a little bit of a breeze coming our way later on today. So let me go ahead and bring up again our weather graphics here, the weather models, and we'll start to look ahead down the road here. And looking at just a beautiful start to the day here with all of those 60s around the region. As we back up our view, you can see the source of that air coming in from the northwest. Even cooler conditions up in the upper Midwest and the northern plains there. You can see 40s and 50s. There could be a couple spots that drop to the upper 40s. It's, those typical cool valley areas. The next few nights would not be surprised if we see a couple upper 40s popping up on the maps. So definitely fall-like air on the way. Kind of feeling like October out there for a while here for us. Let me get out of the full screen mode here and bring up the radar and satellite just to show you some more nice, quiet conditions across the region. There is a little bit of activity in the tropics, but thankfully not impacting the United States. And you can see the active weather staying out to our west. That's where the rain is out in Kansas and Oklahoma, sliding into southwestern Missouri, northwestern Arkansas, but all around our region, again, not a cloud in the sky. And there's not going to be any reason to take a look at the high resolution weather models because we just have no rain chance here this week. So we're actually probably going to have to break out the long range weather models, and it's coming up 10/18. So right on track here as we're starting to look at the weather model data. I want to bring up briefly the tropical data. So there is Ferdinand. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Fernand. That is a tropical storm out there, way out in the Atlantic. And then there is a low pressure system here heading towards the Caribbean. So not too crazy at this time as far as the tropical weather. Really no need to look at the Storm Prediction Center. So since we have like no risk of severe weather anytime soon, and this is about as quiet as you'll see across the United States, as there's basically almost no risk of severe weather around the United States. Same for tomorrow, that's day 2, and same for day 3. Very quiet time of the year, often is here in late August and into September, our last week of August here. Crazy already. And then the Climate Prediction Center shows above normal chances of below normal temperatures through the 6 to 10 day outlook. So we're looking actually into next week that this weather pattern could stay cooler than average. So this isn't just a short-lived little taste of fall. We're actually going to keep that humidity low for quite some time. We're going to look at this together, by the way. Again, we're getting kind of into the weather nerd section of the show. So we're going to take a deeper dive into the weather models and look at the GFS weather model and see when we might see the return of that warmer air mass. Like Mike Siebert asked earlier, no more extreme heat. Well, let's see how long we can ride out the dry air. So when we look at the dew points, it's just probably the most basic, best measure of like between fall-like air and then your tropical air. So we're going to kind of see how that plays out here we'll look a couple weeks out with the GFS weather model. And that means we're heading into your been on a limb segment. All right, so let me go ahead and bring up the temperature map, actually the dew point temperature map. And we are going to look ahead here. Dew point GFS. So there is the night. Let me go back in time here to today. So look at that Canadian front. What it has done is really carved out. I mean, this is all dry air, even down to the Gulf Coast. Tropical air is down here over the Gulf and over the Atlantic. So Canada has won here with this nice, refreshing air. And we can back up this view, and you can see the source of it coming from way up north. And then you can see the tropical air in blue down to the south. Green and blue is the humidity that you can feel. Anything in the gray or the white or the red, that is the dry air. So just to give you some perspective there. That's going to be around pretty much all week. We can go to the last day of August. That's Sunday. And maybe a little more humidity, but really still not too bad. These are dew points in the lower 60s. That's still not bad. And also still a lot of dry air over much of the region. So that is not like a wholesale change in our atmosphere here. So still feeling good. Going into our Labor Day, Monday, humidity still not bad. Again, these are not 70s dew points. These are pretty comfortable 50s and 60s dew points. The really tropical air staying down south. All right, let's go farther out. Getting into our first week of September. I'm going to go September 5th. So that's when we start to see the return. So that's why I was telling Mike Siebert on here, don't want to say the extreme heat is over with yet, because this would be the return of some tropical air if that happens. Now, this is one weather model. We look at the European weather model, the Canadian weather model, but this is around August 5th. We might start to see that heat return to the area. That's showing some upper 80s, hotter weather out west. All right, so that is September the 5th. Let's go September 6th. So looking down the road here a little bit. Not extreme, but just kind of more, summer-like conditions, near 90 or so. Summer still got some gas in the tank, some fuel in the tank, so to speak. Not over with yet. So I think after Labor Day, as we go into the first week of September, we might start to see the return of some warmth. Let me bring up the jet stream map, and this gives you an idea of why this is happening. So we're going up to about 18,000 feet. Between 15,000, 35,000 feet, you're going to find the jet stream. I'm going to take this basically to today. And let's let that load up. So this is the reason for the nice change. The reason for the change in feel of the season here as it feels fall-like across the region. So this is the big dive in the jet stream. And we have been talking about this. I mean, if you go back a week and a half, we were talking about this potential change in the atmosphere. So this is a trough in the jet stream. I'll just put T for trough. And then out west, there's a big ridge. And they've got a heat wave actually happening out in the Pacific Northwest. They've got wildfires in Idaho. So that is where summer is in full blast, is out over the Pacific Northwest. Abnormally hot out that direction. And if I bring up the temperature map, it'll match what we're showing here. So this is all cool air, and then you've got hot air out west. So they're dealing with the hot stuff out west. Let me go back to the jet stream map. So there you can see that dip in the jet stream that we're talking about. And that's basically going to be kind of controlling our weather for a while here. Going into, this is Saturday. The winds are pretty light there. But overall, that's the big reason, because we've got that dip in the jet stream and allowing those temperatures to tumble below normal for this time of the year. Going to reflectivity, this is a look at any rain chance. And there's just not much showing up. Might be next week before we start to see a rain chance. Yards and gardens are just going to be drying out like crazy, already are. There might be as well, I just want to point this out, this time of the year when it starts to feel this good, we're going to want to have those fires outside. We had one yesterday, but just something to keep in mind as it gets breezy, especially, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If we have those afternoon breezes and the humidity is really low, the tinder around the woods in the fields and the grasses are going to be drying out, turning tan and crispy. It is a recipe for wildfires and fires in general. So you might want to delay burning when it's breezy out there. We may end up with some county burn bans. I'm not seeing that yet, but we're starting to get those ingredients where we're kind of heading that way. In parts of Kentucky in a drought, there's a lot of areas that by every Thursday we get the drought monitor. And by then we might start to see more areas in that yellow or tan indicating potential drought across the area. Just want to throw that out there, that there is that maybe elevated fire danger later this week. So that's Saturday. Not much happening. Now, the GFS weather model tried to give us this little tiny rain chance Sunday for parts of the area. It was not on the Euro or the Canadian weather model. So this is an outlier. The GFS is the only one that shows this rain chance Sunday. So I did not put that on the 7-day forecast, as a lot of times when 2 out of 3 are correct, that's a lot of times what happens. So I'm guessing that GFS might take out these rain chances in the next couple of days, but Sunday and a Monday kind of showing that chance. And, maybe as the mugginess returns a little bit, not this week, next week, as we head through the first week of September, perhaps we'll start to see the increase of some rain chances, but there is very little showing up here through the long run. I can bring up the total precipitation. I mean, this is going out a couple weeks. Let me not go that far out. We'll go through Labor Day. So this is the total precipitation through Labor Day, and this shows 0. As we back up our view, you can see there's a dry hole over our area. So it's showing the track of some precipitation all the way down here. this is pretty much all dry weather, very dry weather pattern. So the total precipitation map is not showing much hope of any rain anytime soon. But again, great weather to get outside and maybe do some chores you've been putting off around the house. It's again, phenomenal weather across the area. Looking at some comments just popping in. Laura is saying, can I put in an order to just keep it like this through October? Put in that order. We'll see what happens. But at least we have this lasting for a while here. Kelly saying, just the kind of day I love. I mean, I think we've got a lot of fans of the weather this week. I know there are some that love the hot summer weather, but this is a nice little break out there. John Ulmer, fall is moving in. A lot of signs of it. Obviously, football is here, high school football, then college football, then pro football. You've got some leaves falling off the trees, nice crisp breeze, getting all those harbingers of the next season coming in. Christian Walker with a good morning. Hello to you and Tina Nelson. I hope it stays cool. It will for a while, as we just saw with the long-range data. So 10:30 now, let's go ahead and bring up the forecast, as it, again, has been rather quiet. Actually, one more thing I want to show you here before we get to the recap of the forecast. And that is right here. You want to head over to extolmag.com/weather. There is our live stream that's up right now. The 7-day forecast that I posted this morning. Interactive radar, 3-day forecast, 7-day forecast. A lot of different weather products here. There's the drought monitor that we'll monitor later this week. Every Thursday it comes in. And then again, you've got your huge interactive radar right here that you can bring up full screen. Obviously no rain on that, but we've got our current conditions across the area. And again, if you're up earlier, it was in the 50s this morning, the first morning that I actually broke out the light jacket. But again, just want to mention there's a lot of resources right there for you. And again, looking live out there, it is just a beautiful sky. I can pop in a couple live views. There's bottom left, the clear sky over outside of Extol Media Studios here in uptown New Albany, there at the corner of Market and Vincennes. And then the blue sky up above the Ohio River there along the Falls of the Ohio. That's the Falls of the Ohio Foundation.org camera if you want to check that out. Also has a lot of different information about the Falls of the Ohio and the river levels and all that fun stuff there. All right, moving right along, cruising on this Monday. And again, if you weren't tuning in at 9 a.m. on Extol Unfiltered, Shay McAllister was our special guest. She's got shayinformed.com. You get your local news from her. She's going independent, so you can sign up there. I signed up. And if you want to rewatch Extol Unfiltered, we did a really long interview with Shay, so check that out. All right, here we are, moving right along. And again, your weather headlines. Again, I see that the date is not correct up in the upper right-hand corner, but we got cool nights in the 50s, perfect afternoons in the 70s, and just a dry weather pattern here for us for a long time, as we saw in the weather models. Nice, mild, and a bit breezy today. Might get a gust around 20-25, 72 at noon, 77 this afternoon, and a northwest wind, again, blowing at times out there. Pretty fresh breeze. Here were the horrible dad jokes. The stupid summer dad jokes that I shared with you earlier. But if you weren't on earlier, why is summer camp so hard for some people? Because it's really intense. Why doesn't the sun trust umbrellas? Because they're so shady. Why don't mosquitoes make good comedians? Their jokes always suck. All right, we're going to move on there. That was our fishing trip Saturday. Sarah caught a good one there. I was just sharing some stuff about the family earlier. My daughter's first college class, left-hand corner, left side. And the tennis tournament up in Bedford Friday evening. We took home some hardware from that. We're counting it down here. We've got 9 days until before 8 p.m. sunsets. Again, I mentioned all those signs of fall. They are heading our way. Fall begins in just 28 days, September 22nd. A couple days after that, we get average highs in the 70s. So this is a nice kind of taste of fall, kind of false fall is where we're at. And then average highs in the 60s in about 55 days. That's right around October 19th, when our normal highs are in the 60s and lows in the 40s. Today, tomorrow, Wednesday, high levels of that ragweed pollen. We're going to be in the ragweed season until we get a good frost, basically. Typically lasts until October. And we got another sign of fall here from John Ulmer. The deer fur is starting to change, which means cooler weather is coming soon. Growing those antlers. November coming around soon. The rut. We got a birthday coming up for Christian. Remind us when it gets closer there. Laura saying the before 8 p.m. sunsets, oh me. And then, what is it, like right around November 2nd, we get like 5:30 p.m. sunsets. That's the only thing that's not good about this great weather is you're starting to lose that daylight a little bit. Speaking of which, our sunset is at 8:22. Again, that forecast high at 77, more than 10 below normal. Just a touch breezy out there. And tonight, low 55 degrees. Again, we can crack open those windows, enjoy that fresh air, clean out the house a little bit with that mostly clear sky. The winds will lighten up around sunset. And tomorrow, a lot like today, 50s out the door, 68 at noon, 76 for the afternoon high. Our sun up at 7:07 and setting at 8:21. And the beautiful 7-day forecast. I mean, this is the coolest stretch of weather we've seen since May. We had June 1st and 2nd that were still relatively cool, but then after that, summer was on. So this is, again, been a while since we felt stuff like this. 76 tomorrow, 77 Wednesday, 79 Thursday, near record low temperatures at nighttime, which are around 51. So we probably won't break any records, but getting close to that. And then hovering around 80 degrees or so as we head through our Labor Day weekend. So not much change as the air stays nice and dry and fall-like across the area. All right, moving right along here at 10:35 on our Monday. I hope you guys are off to a good start. It would be nice to get outside, take that morning or evening stroll, and enjoy that fresh air. And let me bring this one back up here for us. What are you going to do to enjoy this awesome weather that we have across the area? And again, a shout out here to our partners. We can be here because of them and because of you. And it is lionsroofingco.com. They've got this job opening here, roofing repair technician, 812-294-3595. They've got you covered, serving customers in Louisville, Kentucky, Southern Indiana. And there you go. You can read more about it there. We know that the hot summers and stormy winters, they know what they can do to your home's roof, siding, and gutters. We live here too. Family run, locally owned and operated. Lions Roofing Company is your local roofing company. So again, you can reach out to them. The number's in our upper right-hand corner, LYONS. They have helped my family out. And so is Michael Long, my insurance agent with American Family Insurance. You can give him a shout. Tell him that I sent you, 812-578-3072. Proud to be an American Star certified agency. Excellence in customer experience. Go to amfam.com and just search Michael Long. Lots of job openings here at Libs Paving. LibsPaving.com, the top asphalt paving contractor around, family owned, right out of the knobs. And you just scroll down to the career section. If you need an opportunity, know somebody that needs some work, a new career, boom, superintendent opening, apply for the job. There you go. And you can also level up your career and get that education that you need right here in our backyard. Just go to ivytech.edu, and congratulations. They are back to school. Their fall sessions are today, August 25th. So busy campus up there, exit 9, just 9 miles north of Louisville, and a lot of 2-year programs right here. And they make it probably the easiest way to really get into that career is, through Prosser in high school, getting those dual credits that count towards your post-secondary education. Tuesdays at the Tech is where you can get that one-on-one and learn a whole lot more there. So again, thanks to all of our partners here making it all possible on Ben at 10. And of course, it's all possible because you are here as well. So thanks for tuning in. And one more time, before we wrap it all up on this beautiful Monday, if you ever want to get a hold of me, there you go. Ben at extolmag.com, EXTOLMAG.com. Feel free to send me a message on Facebook. I do look at those pretty much every day as well. Meteorologist Ben Peine on Facebook, Extol Weather on Facebook, and Extol Media on YouTube. So lots of ways to get a hold of us there. And if you ever want to join up and whether it's marketing or advertising, sponsorships, you can give me an email here, give you a call to learn more about that. Ben at extolmag.com, Jason at extolmag.com. And a final look outside as it is looking beautiful out there. Just a gorgeous day to get outside. Can't wait to get out there. There it is. Not a cloud in the sky. Refreshing air. Autumn air arrival is what we've been talking about today. And there you go. There is the live shot out there. And back to me. Looking at our comments before we wrap it up. Yeah, Laura's saying, enjoy the day, everyone. And good luck to Christian with the Carmel Fire Department up there in Indianapolis. Hopefully it all goes well for you. We're going to leave it with this comment right here. Again, we'll see you tomorrow. Again, if you want to rewatch Extol Unfiltered that we had with myself, Angie Fenton, and Shay McAllister, shayinformed.com, your local news source. Follow her and sign up. My former coworker, of course, Shay McAllister, excellent reporter, doing her own thing now, independent journalism. So check that out. Support her. You can see the whole long-form interview on Extol Media on YouTube. Thanks for liking or subscribing. All right, get out there and enjoy. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll talk more about this cool weather and all the good things happening across the area. We'll see you. Thanks for watching.